Hello there, how are you? I'm Lirin Haddock and welcome to another episode of Cheap Games, No Shame. Now this week's is a sequel to a game that I covered in the free game retrospective a couple of weeks ago. Today we're looking at further vehicle violence, autobahn assassinations and car carnage. Today we're looking at Flatout 2. Please like, comment, share and subscribe as it really helps the channel out. Having run through Flatout 1 recently, I knew what to expect going into the game. Except I didn't. Everything about the game has been improved. Gameplay is still addictive, and once again, for a game that's, nearly 20 years old, it looks amazing. Comfortable in 1920 by 1080, and yeah, it's dated textures, but they still look fantastic. With the slight graphical upgrade, it also makes the damage and crashes you have look even better, including loads of separate destructible parts, which in turn leads to great crashes and ridiculousness abound. The gameplay is set up in a similar vein. You're working your way through different racing series to unlock further cars and races. Except there's so much more. I mean it, so much more in this game. For a start, your career is split into 3 sections: derby, race and street cars. As you can imagine, each class of car is different. You'll find they get faster but more fragile as you go on. But even with the cars being more fragile, I personally find them quite resilient. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, as you can find yourself then racing more rather than being absolutely destroyed in seconds. Quick change of pace for a second, let's talk audio. For a start, again the engines, tyre squeals and crunching metal still sound great. A big bonus from the first game is that if a song finishes during your race, it'll load a different song. Yes! On top of that is the fact that songs on this soundtrack are songs you actually want to hear. Songs you'll want to hear, but I won't be able to play on the video. Megadeth, Audioslave, Rise Against, Rob Zombie, Alkaline Trio, Papa Roach, Wolf Mother, Fall Out Boy, Supergrass. Yet within all this greatness, there is unfortunately a truly heinous crime committed in this soundtrack. And it's not once, but twice. They have 2 Nickelback songs. Oh, I feel dirty.
Think of the children! Won't somebody please think of the children?
Other than that, the soundtrack's amazing. Now, there's some niggly bits to mention, bits that don't necessarily make the game look great, but as I said, they're niggly bits. They're not game-breaking or game-ending, just bugbears. Bugbear entertainment. Weird. Anyway, firstly, it's the controller use. Now, I use a generic Xbox-style controller. No issues really on any games, works with Windows fine, but for some reason, in the game it works great. But if you need to use a menu, you'll need your keyboard still. The next thing is more to do with running an older game on a newer system. The load screens have tips and tricks and even background lore on the new races, but try and read it with how quickly the game will load on a current system. The only other niggly bit I picked up on was ragdolls. Now, you know I love me some ragdolls, yet there's not as many as Flatout 1. Like I said, they're still there, there's just not as many. But it does lead to some more insane crashes, to be honest, so I'm kind of mixed on it. Sequels. A blessing or a curse. Whether it's in films or games, even TV shows, a sequel is often hit and miss. I think more companies need to look at these first 2 installments as to how to do a great sequel. They've kept what works, polished other parts, and removed bits that didn't work, along with some other great alumni, Half-Life, Battlefield, Deus Ex, where a truly solid game was raised by its sequel. Hats off to companies that truly love making a good sequel, and to those who don't buckle to market or executive pressures. Overall, the gameplay is still great, if not better. The physics engine has been improved, and items that were smashed on the previous lap may still be in play the next lap round instead of just disappearing or having its hitbox removed. You'll want to focus on both how you hit your opponents and how hard you land from your jumps, as they'll often be the biggest causes of issues for you. Now, whilst playing through the racing levels, it did give me flashes of Burnout 3 that a mate had on PS2 back in the day. Best tactic is to cause your opponent to crash. The tracks are more varied than the first Flatout, and often the shortcuts are signposted better than in the first game as well, which leads to more insanity as some shortcuts will cause you to launch your vehicle nearly into the stratosphere. As you move through the car groups, you'll find yourself on differing tracks, especially in the street series where you're on more traditional racetrack. Except it's hardly got its FIA safety license with all of that stuff on track. Like I mentioned earlier about improving what was already good, let's have a look at the minigames. Now in this department they've truly upped their game. The classics from the first game are there: bowling, destruction derby, figure eight racing, but there's also so much more on offer this time round, whether it's variations of true sports like American football, baseball and proper football, soccer to you Americans, or whether it's launching yourself through fiery rings or playing casino games by targeting cards on a board. All of the mechanics and gameplay come together in a symphony of chaos, or symphony of destruction if you want to take the Megadeth song from the soundtrack, but with actual names and faces to your opponents this time round, you may find it getting a bit personal when on track. Well, there you go. For only £1.19 on sale recently, or £7.89 not on sale on GOG, it's worth a punt if you enjoy some frenetic action and fantastic random events. Thanks for watching this week's episode, and please feel free to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Lyrin Haddock, and as a treat for making it to the end, yes, it's another montage, but not just ragdolls. See you all next time.